Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order right now. Just want to mention that we are having a few technical issues and with our Bell internet service, it's not working. So we will be recording the meeting, but it will not be live streamed. So with that, I'll call the meeting to order at 5 after 10. And now I'd like to read the First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of the land for thousands of years. And we have the adoption of the agenda. The motion is that Council and Committee agenda for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 be approved as amended, removing Bob Howe from the in-camera session. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Blank, Councillor Schulis, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interests. Councillor Olszewski.
I want to disclose a pecuniary interest with agenda item 10.1.6, please.
So noted. Thank you, Councillor. All right, so now we'll move into delegations, and we do have one today. We have Ray Stanley here to talk about the rezoning amendment for number 2023-04, Hassanville. And I just want to say, Ray, you have spoken about this before, but I want to make sure it's clear that you...
Sorry, can I just ask for quiet so that it's when we do the recording that we can hear? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you have 15 minutes as your delegation, and if you could stick to what you've requested that you say, which was generally about the supposed multi-bylaw infractions and the size and seating capacity.
No, I have a speech prepared, so I'll just give the speech. And,
okay, you can go ahead, and if it goes off topic, we will have to stop you.
Yeah, that's
okay. All right.
That's kind of disingenuous, isn't it? Anyway, okay.
No, I don't think it is. Okay.
Here,
go ahead, please.
I'm sorry. Mayor Wilmer and Councillor Blank, Councillor Micah, Councillor Olszewski, and Councillor Schulis. Okay, thank you. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. I prepared a speech with input from many sources, so I will deliver it. But just late last night, I received an email unexpectedly from someone working in town planning and development, and he provided a very detailed outline of the inadequacies of the application in question from a professional point of view, citing official provincial policy statements. I will read his assessment first. Okay. He says, the application for the proposed place of worship on the 286-acre property with 8 existing dwelling units lacks clarity. It is unclear which portion of the property is proposed to be rezoned. There is also no concept plan depicting the floor area, the gross floor area, which is the number of square feet taken up by the building, the expected number of worshipers or operational hours. Additionally, there is no transportation impact study outlining the expected increase in traffic or its impact on the adjacent roadway network. The proposed place of worship has only one access point, which could be a concern in the event of road closure or emergency along Stanley Olszewski Road. It is also not clear if the mosque will be open to the public or limited to the Hassanville community. The provincial policy statement identifies qualifying or mitigating studies that should be submitted to support proposals. With sufficient studies submitted as part of the without sufficient studies submitted as part of the proposal, the application should be considered premature as it lacks sufficient information to make an educated decision. The applicant's planning justification recognizes this. This is what we heard, stating that the proposed mosque has no available plans at this time. And the purpose of the zoning bylaw amendment is to establish the development principle. However, the required studies are slated to be completed during the site plan approval stage. Okay, that's not normal. This is not a public process. So they should tell us, the public, how many people are involved. What about the road studies? They didn't do that. They said, oh, we will do that when they get to the site plan approval stage, at which point we have no input. It is done. So this is disingenuous. We, at this point, before rezoning, we need to know. We are the public. We hire you, and so this is really disingenuous, actually, and not in accord. We have people working in zoning and planning, and they're watching, and they know, and they will be advising, and we will be publicizing exactly what is going on. This is not orthodox behavior. Okay, so this lack of transparency and trust with the public is seen as disingenuous and dismisses the need to complete studies during the rezoning stage. Now, this is what we're all struggling with. It's like we're going around like mice going, but how many people are there, Could I have a glass of water? How many people are there involved, Well, we don't know. Well, shouldn't they be telling us? How can we look at something when we have no idea what it is, And they're going, we don't have to tell you. Well, fact is, this application, you are not giving us information we are entitled to. And I think legally we are entitled to it. So we will be definitely pursuing this. So there are many detailed notes that this man gave us, and he will continue to advise us. Basically, this is more detailed. The submitted application is vague. The entire property is noted to contain 286 acres with 8 existing dwelling units, 6 detached and 2 mobile. Is the 286 acre proposed to be rezoned as a place of worship? The whole 286 acres? If not, what portion of the property is proposed to be rezoned? And these are all questions we should have answers to. Will the mosque be open to the public or limited to the Hassanville community only? There is no concept plan, again, depicting the gross floor area, GFT, nor details concerning how many worshipers are expected and operational hours. No zoning compliance matrix is provided to ensure the proposed proposal meets the town's zoning requirements. A transportation impact absolutely necessary, or a trip generation letter has not been completed to outline how many additional trips the place of worship will generate and the impacts, if any, on the adjacent roadway network from a capacity and safety perspective. Many residents walk and bike on the road. The proposed place of worship has sole access to the external roadway network provided through a single unsignalized intersection of Stanley Olszewski Road with Old Barry's Bay Road. This intersection is noted to be located over 3 kilometers north of Hassanville Lane. With the additional traffic generated by the proposed place of worship, The lack of secondary access could become a significant concern since a traffic accident or road closure could prevent emergency responders from accessing the place of worship and other residents. So it goes on and on. And the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, is an international nonprofit organization that publishes codes and standards to minimize the possibility of effects of fire and other risks. All these codes and standards, have to be taken into consideration. This is just basically totally an incomplete document. So it has to be brought back to the table, and the public has to be, brought on side. So in my speech, I'd just like to begin by quoting, our purpose, again, is to present arguments and professional evidence that this application on the part of the community is ill-advised and premature and must be postponed. I'd like to quote Aristotle, who incidentally was brought to the West via Muslim scholars. He defines politics as deliberating on how we order our lives together. Islam and the West have collaborated on many issues, including philosophical questions, to great advantage. This is not about Islam. We're not Islamophobic, but it is about looking objectively at one group of people acting in one township in one situation and how this decision will concretely affect one specific area. The consideration in no way implies prejudice. In Canada, as everyone knows, our foundational political principles for ordering our lives together, as Aristotle defines politics, are based on freedom of speech and equality before the law. I will exercise my right to freedom of speech on topics people may be hesitant to express, although it will probably make some people uncomfortable, and I will look at discrepancies in equality before the law. I've talked about our main problem as we engage in politics and deliberate on how to order our lives together for the common good. And the main part is the lack of full transparency and disclosure regarding the numbers that would be involved. And we know this is absolutely our right to know. How else do we debate this? So, and this lack of full disclosure causes division, speculation, and confusion, and it does not foster trust and cooperation in your township. A simple declaration of the seating capacity, which we have every right to know, would show good faith and foster unity. A simple declaration, with a simple declaration, fears could easily be allayed, which are rampant. As it is, the speculation goes from a capacity of 500 to 5,000, unsettling. And it obviously, legally, you must tell us this. We are your constituents. Following on this, how would an influx of even 500 people be accommodated and managed, let alone an influx of thousands? Our community at present is stretched to the breaking point with regard to infrastructure and services. Just try to get a doctor, for example, or a tradesperson. We're also concerned with widespread allegations of bylaw violations by the Hassanville community in following and applying municipal law currently as compared to how is it applied in the general population. We don't believe there is equality under the law and that everyone is being treated equally. And we believe this has to be addressed before going forward. We have satellite photos of many dwellings. Are these structures lawful? Until there is an investigation, which it seems is pending, I've spoken to the bylaw officer. It appears obvious that things should not move forward. Again, we should all be equal before the law, or it affects unity, harmony, and trust, and does not foster order, but rather political disorder and disunity in our lives together as a township. There must be equality before the law. This is unjust. In addition, the Hassanville community has a history of using aggressive, unorthodox pressure tactics to influence the democratic process. Anyone at a council meeting a few years ago to authorize Dombrowski Farm to set up a septic collection business and witness the mass pandemonium created by this community in order to pressure the council to defeat this authorization will have an idea of the tactics used. The request, which seemed assured, was refused. Are they adverse to using intimidation? Do they accept that we are equal before the law and subject to the same rules of conduct? If I'd done that, if we do that, how would that look? Finally, I hesitate to bring this up, but as Mr. Taylor said in response to my question about terrorism at the public meeting, calling it the elephant in the room, are there any connections presently to terrorist organizations with any segment of this population? I know the convictions were 30 years ago, but they were of such a horrific nature that they can't be dismissed entirely. Planning to murder 4,500
If I may,
people-
under section 12.2 of the procedural bylaw, Ms. Stanley, I'll ask that your comments remain to the planning matters and not as it pertains to any personal or, allegations. That will form part of the record.
This is
Yes,
this is
and
not
I'm
an
not-
allegation. I can give you a newspaper article.
I'm just following the process. You wanted to have the opportunity to go through your whole document, so if you wanted to ensure that we make sure that we're not.
Oh, it's okay. This
using
is common
parliamentary
knowledge.
documentary.
I wrote it in the newspaper.
Yes, and that's fine, and it is.
That
in the
wasn't a
newspaper.
problem for any.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're
that's
just
okay.
going by our
I
procedural
respect-
bylaw.
I
Thank
will
you.
respect the rules that you set forth. Unlike what
Thank you.
happened with the Hassanville community, there was pandemonium, and that wasn't stopped. So is that equality before the law?
Can I?
Yeah,
You're
okay.
welcome to proceed.
Yeah. How much time do I have?
You had 15 minutes, and it's
We'll
exceeded.
give you-
so we're
we'll-
letting you
2
finish.
minutes left.
Yeah,
Okay.
A couple more minutes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and just generally, how would this project, if it involves thousands, the accommodation of the request on the part of the Hassanville community to build a mosque, etc., I firmly believe will be catastrophic for this township and surrounding areas serviced by Barry's Bay. Until the allegations of unlawful behavior and other concerns are addressed, and until there is full disclosure as to the scope of the plan and following of our advisor's suggestion, the only reasonable thing for you to do, the mayor and council of Madawaska Valley Township, is to delay a decision. And we have many people watching, including our expert. Finally, this has nothing to do with religion. We are not Islamophobic. These would be concerns regardless of the faith of any group putting forth such a dramatic proposal with such a history. So, you stopped me from, you have stopped me from saying everything I wanted to say, and that will also be noted. Basically, thank you for listening, and we are claiming our right to have our voices heard and to make sure that we are all equal under the law, and we will not let this go. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stanley.
Any questions?
Well, I have our municipal planner, Luc Desjardins, here right now, and I'd like to ask him to perhaps explain some of the process and respond to some of the comments.
You can speak as if you're speaking to our advisor, and we will ask him those questions.
Ms. Stanley, I'm conducting the meeting. Can you just, we'll let Luke talk now?
We will send it to him. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was listening to the comments. What we're in is we're following a process, a procedure that's established under the Planning Act that applies across Ontario, whether you're in Toronto or whether you're in Madawaska Valley. We follow this process by giving notice of applications, by holding public meetings, by making information available to council and recommendations, and then ultimately for council to make decisions on how to proceed or not proceed with certain proposals. So right now with this zoning application, we're well within a process. Notice has been given. We've had a public meeting has been held. Clearly the public is aware of this proposal. And following which, we've received letters as well, and the staff are not through with their review of this. We're in discussions with the agent for the application, which is JP2G Consulting out of Pembroke. And when staff are ready to advise council of thoughts and maybe a process for how to proceed, we will do that. There is nothing on the agenda today. On August 8th, we have a planning meeting, but that's just to update council on certain files that I have, and I'll put a short memo about this on that August 8th agenda, just outlining that comments have been received. Again, I'm not looking for any type of a decision at that meeting, and we'll continue to flesh this out till I, as a professional planner, am satisfied to bring a recommendation to council for the adequacy of the proposal. And when that will occur, it may take some time through like I said, fleshing out any particular items. I guess through the chair today to the delegation, any points that were put on the table, can be addressed. All public comments, are important and need to form part of the decision-making process. That's how planning works. It's all public processes. If Ms. Stanley would like to submit her speech today, that would be helpful. If not, that's we'll just have to listen to it verbally. But I guess that's all I'll have to say today.
Okay.
And I would like to give each of you a copy of our advisors for the record.
Yeah, if you just leave it on the table there, I'll make sure that I put it in their council bins. Thank you.
And put it in with mine.
Yep, I will do that as long as we have a copy there.
Yeah. All right.
If I may, through the chair, I just wanted to address, I realize that, that this portion of the meeting is almost over. But I wanted to take note that I received a lot of calls as well that wanted clarification about attending today. And they were told that there was a public meeting today to slide through the rezoning of Hassanville, which is incorrect. They were told that there was inference that we were aware that it was going to be between 1,500 and 5,000 people. That is not correct. 75% of the emails that we've received are noting valid concerns about, wanting to know the size, the traffic study. Those are all things that are pending, that are still coming. The advice that you sought from your expert about the process are correct. And at no point we're not at that step yet. So the inference that we've skipped a step is incorrect. Some of the people that called me yesterday were told that the rezoning was happening today. That is incorrect. And that it would be approved before we receive any further documents. That is incorrect. And that we are premature in bringing that today. There was nothing coming today other than your delegation, which was your right to express your comments and your concerns, which will be added, as was listed at the June 20th meeting, that the manager of planning continues to accept comments that form part of the file. That will be great for rezoning. So I just wanted to make that noted that there is nothing in the process that we are not following part of the process.
Can I
So.
ask a question?
I think right now, no, we'll continue with the meeting. I just wanted to say, though, that this is a long process. It isn't a quick one. We as Sue noted, we haven't even reached many of the steps yet. That will come down the road. Where we're at now is simply waiting for an update next week. No decisions will be made at that meeting. We're looking at probably sometime in the fall before we even are dealing with this and have all our information together. So, what's that?
Claire, please clarify something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Quickly.
I'm sorry if I was misinformed, but repeatedly, my understanding was that there was a public meeting and the bylaw,
Bylaw has no part in this process.
No, but this would be settled at the first, or could be settled easily at the first meeting. and I was told this is where it would be passed. After they have a public meeting, or it could be. It could easily happen at the next meeting, that after the public meeting, that this would be passed. That's what I was repeatedly told.
Well, we had no intention of doing that, and actually, if you look
No,
at
it could have happened, I would say. They said,
Yeah.
no, this could happen today. Is that true? Could
No.
this?
No, that would have never been a process. What was explained to you, and I spoke to you at some point as well, was that this is a long process. You repeatedly asked,
Sorry.
Ray,
Yeah.
you repeatedly asked about, I want to know how many people, to which I replied, we have not received the full documents yet. The public meeting was to advise members of the public an application is coming forward. There were 40 people in attendance. We advised this application is coming forward. Coming forward doesn't even explain it doesn't take into account everything that needs to happen in the next steps, which was explained at the public meeting that you attended on June 20th.
I'm so sorry, but I'm grateful we have people now that can have a voice, and we will definitely make our voices known. And we will also check this out with our expert in
We welcome
public
that.
plan. That's great. We can work
Yeah.
together. I'm so happy.
we welcome the input, and I think also it shows that this isn't being done in secrecy. We have a long way to go on
Good.
this.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so that
Yeah,
that
we'll
was,
be-
that was
we'll be-
something I was a little upset at. The misinformation that was out there, the fact that so many people, we had people who were considering driving from Ottawa and Toronto just for this meeting today because they thought we were going to do something.
And
there
the-
never was any intention to do anything today, and all you have to do is look at our agenda for today, and you can see that.
And I welcome the opportunity. Our
Great.
staff is accountable and transparent, and this is no different than going to Facebook to find out the information. If you have a valid question, if you have a valid comment, we are welcoming those comments that form part of the record.
That's
and they go
wonderful.
through the manager of planning,
Great.
who is fully, on the lead on this file.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
great. I'm grateful. We'll all work together.
All
That's
right, I'm going to
wonderful.
ask the
Yeah.
other councillors, does anyone have any questions?
No, none.
All right. Okay, well, we will move on, and again, thank you very much, Ray, for
Thank
your...
you.
Yeah.
That's
so-
great. Yeah.
Could you see about getting a recess? Could you ask?
Yeah.
like to speak
I think we'll have a 10-minute recess just to allow people to move around. Could I get a mover, please, for that? Councillor Olszewski, seconded by Councillor Schules. All in favor? And carried. So we'll resume at about
He doesn't
20
wanna
to 11.
Yeah. but
Thank
he-
you.
He can definitely speak with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So our next item is the council and committee portion of the agenda, and our first committee up is Operations, Road and Waste Management. I'll turn the gavel over to Councillor Micah.
Sorry. Okay, item number 7.1, Public Works Update. Read the, okay, well, we won't receive it yet as information, so if you want to go right into her, Michael?
Sure, sounds good. Morning, everyone. I'll just highlight some of the points here, just because I know you guys got a long day ahead, so lots on the agenda. Yes, for the update, tenders, hot mix paving, tender was awarded to BEI and is well underway. We've got culverts replaced, pulverizing's been complete, granular A application is completed, and hot mix paving is currently going on as we speak. Cartuzzi Road awarded to Walsh Contracting, culverts replaced, pulverizing scheduled for late August, granular application, and DST double surface treatment to follow that.
Can I just, sorry, interrupt you then, Mike?
Absolutely.
When we say late August, we're sure, because we don't want to do it when it gets cold
Yeah.
for DST, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Continue on, the crushed gravel contract was awarded to Blue Chase Construction and was completed in July. And that only leaves, we have 2 outstanding tenders left to complete, the Tam Truck and Winter Stand, which will be following shortly. As far as the other updates, some new signage for Bark Lake. We had a bit of a confusion with the cardboard, corrugated versus non-corrugated. That only applies to the Bark Lake transfer, or the Bark Lake waste and the other transfer stations to separate out between recycling and in the cardboard bin. Dangerous tree removal continues as normal. Shoulder grading was up to 70% complete. So we had a couple of really bad rainstorms in June and July, which set us back. So we had to go over a lot of the areas, but it's coming along quite nicely actually. Hardtop patching is ongoing. Sweeping, winter sand sweeping 100% complete. Roadside mowing is ongoing with approximately 60% completed. All parking lot emblems, stop blocks, painting has been completed with just the crosswalks to be done as part of the Connecting Link project. Sign placement is ongoing. The retro reflectivity testing was completed as per the minimum maintenance standards. You have to do that every 16 months. They have to check and make sure that they're reflective, so that was completed. Couple new signs, watching speed, Murray Park Street and Madawaska Road were both installed.
Yeah, just a question. I noticed a couple of the hospital signs are very faded. Are they our responsibility?
That's a good question, Mayor. I believe so. I will
Okay.
check into it, and if
Okay.
they are, we'll get them replaced.
Thank you.
Okay, the calcium application, our main program was completed. Now we just have our ongoing as road grading and needs arise for the calcium application. And the connecting link, I'll do that. That's a separate update because there's another report for that. So that concludes the Public Works update. Any
Okay.
questions?
That's great. Does anybody have any questions? No, none? Being none?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll, if I can get somebody to move to accept the Public Works Update Report as information.
We don't need,
Oh, we
we'll
don't
just
need-
accept it.
We're just doing it, we're
That's
just
fine.
accepting it? Okay,
Yeah, thank
great.
you.
So we'll move on to item 7.2, which is the Lakeshore Park drainage RFP.
If I may, through the chair. I'd like to seek a resolution to table this report to August 15th in absence of the operations manager.
Okay, can I get a mover to table the report till Hillary returns from vacation? Moved by the mayor, seconded by Councillor Oshesky. All in favor? So moved. Okay, so we will move on to item 7.3. This one's a big, exciting one, Mike.
This is
The tender for the connecting link improvements at the three-way stop. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, we'll start with the background information. The following tender, 2023-08 Connecting Link Improvements, has been advertised on the municipal website, link to bid and go, the closing date of July 26th. Opening tenders was July 26th, 3:15 in the council chambers. We received 3 tenders, MWS Construction, 350, 539, $2,000.56. BEI Excavating, $308,289.94. And H&H Construction at $299,921.84. So, and below there's our financial impacts. We had $413,288 budgeted for this project, so it came in at $299,921. So
That's
we're in
great.
good shape there. And I'll just give you a quick update for anybody that wants to
Yeah,
know. So our
please.
collecting aid project consists of 22 manholes and catch basins to be replaced. That includes the upper structures so that they will sit better, like on concrete, so they won't break up. 3 concrete crosswalks at the 3-way stop. 2 thermoplastic crosswalks at Stafford and towards the Matadors, or towards the Vitos. Removal of interlock block between the bank and pharmacy as it's failing in that section due to high traffic, and that'll be replaced with asphalt. Some sidewalk panels also in that area are going to be replaced. And big ticket item on this contract is obviously the traffic control, being that it's on the connecting link. So that's just a quick gist of what's going to be happening.
Perfect.
Any questions?
Well, I have a question. The thermoplastic, I thought we were not going to go down that road because it, basically we get a year out of it and it costs $10,000 to restamp. Is that the same
No.
stuff there? There's something different.
That's only at the 3-way stop from the trucks going the sharp corner. It's used at the other 2 straightforward ones, and it's the same that's been installed 5 to 6 years
Okay.
ago. It's good. It works well in those locations. It's just the scrubbing of the tires around the 3-way stop that it can't handle. That's why we're going to go with the concrete in those
Yeah.
locations.
Okay, good, thank you.
Um,
Councillor Shesky?
expected start date of the work?
Yeah.
When is
Uh,
that?
I think
September?
it has to be awarded and in the
Yeah.
contract, so I don't have a for sure start date. I guess it works
Okay.
out between the.
That'd
after
be
it gets
preferred to have it September, right?
awarded. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
When the traffic dies
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
obviously,
I'd imagine
less impact.
By the time that gets
Yeah.
awarded and the
Okay.
formalities are completed, it'll be a fall project.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions on the Connecting Link project? Seeing none? Okay, so I just one quick question, Mike. Too many similar names. When we've reviewed those tenders, we're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. And is the tender submitted to the MTO for review before awarding, or do we just do that on our end?
It's actually the scope of work is part of the application for funding, so they would have known exactly what we were planning on doing to award us the funding to get the project.
Okay, just to make,
Yep.
because the Connecting Link is
Absolutely.
technically Highway 60, and and the county as well, because of the intersection, correct?
Correct.
Or the sidewalks, or the stop signs, or there's 3 different,
Just like the freeway
3
stop,
different
yeah.
people involved in that, organizations. Okay, thank you. So, that's it for me. Oh, you want me to? Okay, sure. Okay, so item 7.3, tender 2023-8 Connecting Link Improvements. The recommendation is that council approve the operation manager's recommendation to award the tender MV 2023-8 Connecting Link Improvements to H&H Construction Inc. in the amount of $299,921.84, HST included, subject to requirements of the tender, and that the expense be applied against account 01-5-0814-703-013, budget 2023, roadway capital expenditure Connecting Link. I'm a mover. Moved by Mayor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Blank. All in favor? So moved.
Thanks, Mick.
All right. Pass that back. And I'll pass this over to Councillor Schulis.
No,
Or
Councillor
sorry,
Shesky.
Olszewski, sorry. I'm rusty.
It's been a month.
We've had a month off, so,
Did you really have a month off?
not really, but we haven't had a
That's
meeting.
it, eh?
Did we really have a month?
No.
All right, agenda item 8.1 municipal reports, operations, water, wastewater facilities. 8.1.1 Ontario Clean Water Agency expenditure requests. Mr. Pilgrim, if you wouldn't mind going through your report there.
Thank you. So in this report just highlights a few items that we had purchased between the water and wastewater facilities over the past couple months. So first being replacement membrane caps for the compliance chlorine analyzers at the water plant, totaling $807.47. And we did 3 curb stop repairs at one being 19666 Opeongo, 19674 Opeongo, and 92 Dunn Street, totaling $2,575.70. Moving into the wastewater, we did some pump repairs, which included an impeller, 2 repair kits, and some glycol as cooling for $7,533. The alarm communication dialer that is communicates all the our 24/365 all of our alarms. Sorry, the panel itself failed and had to be replaced for a total of $1,735.47. UV service repairs was normal wear and tear lamps for the UVs, which take care of all the disinfecting the treated effluent leaving the plant. SPS number 2 collection system spill was found to be a stick that was lodged in a manhole that somebody had put through, and it got caught just prior to station 2 backing up the sanitary line, causing a small overflow. So Excite came in and removed that with the vac truck and shot the line. And finally we had some generator battery maintenance, and it included 2 batteries, an oil pressure issue that was causing some issues with starting, as well as a hand fuel pump that had to be replaced on the unit.
Excellent. Just one question there. The curb stops, did they fail, or is it just?
A lot of times since they've been installed, say in 73, 74, you get some of them that the rods will break when you go to,
Oh yeah, the stainless steel rods. Yeah.
well, normally it's the pin at the bottom that snaps off, and then you have to hydrovac around it and replace the stem.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions from council?
Just
Yeah.
one quick one.
Counselor Magna.
These expenditures, are they all within
Yep.
budgeted limits?
Correct.
Yeah, very good.
Just a
Councillor.
question regarding, thank you. Just a question regarding the summer. July was a pretty hot month. How did that affect anything that you guys were doing with problems with the system? I do appreciate the visits that we had and the tour we had to see what was going on. And then July was pretty hot. So was there anything extra you had to do, or was everything pretty well under control?
No, everything was well under control. We have noticed a bit more treated water leaving the plant in the past month or so. It's a little, usage seems to be a little bit higher than normal, but that's not uncommon for in the summer either when it's that hot. So
Sorry, any more complaints about smell or anything coming through? No, I haven't noticed any either. Okay,
all has been good.
thank you.
Any other questions from council? CO?
Just as part of the facility tour that you had, was there any like council recommendations or direction coming out of that site tour of something that you were needing to see more of, or no?
No, nothing at all, but I do want to say thank you again. It was very educational for me, and it is the first time that I've been through the plant, and I really enjoyed it and meeting your staff, and it really was an eye-opener in some ways for me. So thank you.
No. Joseph, I have just one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we did do the tour, I just thought of it now. It's been a while, gosh.
Well, that's
Feels
why I
like
wanted
it's
to bring
been
it up, because
forever.
it's been a little bit.
And I know maybe this had been brought up prior to the tour, but I think you were going to possibly look into a cost or availability or possibility of some type of covering for the open,
Yes, we will.
and potentially helping in the winter, with the cold. I'm not expecting an answer today. I just wanted to make sure that we were still going to just look into that as a possibility with a price, just so we don't forget.
Yeah, so what I've been looking at is we're trying to find more of a, we can get a rigid one put in, like a structural put on top of it, but then it's going to make it so much more difficult and it can find space for
But a
cleaning.
temporary, even just a
temporary-
rollover
A rollover one would be great. However,
pool cover.
with the way the tank fills and empties all the time, and
Yeah.
then
during the decants, it would get pulled into the decant arm. So we're still working on ways
That's
that we
okay. No,
can
just, it's just a
keep it
thought,
the way
you
it
know,
is.
if it could be, maybe, if not, that's fine too. Thank you.
Go ahead.
If I may, just to the member of the public that was asking to speak, you're welcome to write out your question to me, and after the meeting, I can answer that question for you. Thank you.
All right, any other questions from council? All right, I'm gonna ask CAO to read the recommendation, please.
Thank you through the chair. That council approve the Ontario Clean Water Agency expenditures as presented in the amount of $18,306.08 for work orders 3339443, 3340664, 3147573, 3385357, 3387680, 3432000, and 3434601.
I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Micah, second by Councillor Schulis. All in favor, and that's carried. All right, now we'll move on to 8.2, correspondence and information. None, right? Unfinished business. None. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right, we'll now move on to,
I need the chief here.
yeah, okay, we need the chief, yes. We are going to move to
Oh, sorry.
fire and protection and emergency management when the chief gets in, and that's Councillor Schulis, who's the chair of this committee.
Hello, chief, where are you?
Did you want to take a 5-minute break? Did you want to take a 5-minute recess?
Okay, we will take a 5-minute break if I have a mover. Councillor Oselski, seconded by Councillor Blank.
Always listen to me.
All in favor? Carried. No, that's
Okay.
2 of you.
We're the closest to the door.
Excuse me.
the Fire and Protection Emergency Management section, and Councillor Schulis is chair of this committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief is here. The first item here is 9.1.1. It's a bylaw activities found on page 4142. And if the chief can kind of fill us in on this.
Okay, first part is animal control. Animal control is notified of a waiting incident through the Renfrew County Health Unit again. After the Renfrew County Health Unit got a hold of us, then the person got in contact myself. The dog was quarantined for 14 days, and there was a POA ticket issued to the person owner of the dog for allowing the dog to get loose to bite somebody. So that's been dealt with. The dog's been released from quarantine with no issues. Health units followed up with their part and done their part, so they didn't see the dog. There was 2 other dog complaints. The dog's running loose. They were input into the CJS, but they have been now since they came back from holiday, so that was entered after we got the report done, so that's why it's on there. Then outstanding complaints, we still get bylaw, building and planning, and the CEO meet once a month yet to try and get compliance with those outstanding issues from last year going on. It's coming down slowly, a little bit at a time, couple every week or two, whatever. We're getting complaints here and there, so there's a few longer outstanding issues which are big we're working on. But for the most part, we're starting to get wheeled down pretty good from when we started at the beginning of the year. And this is attached to the back report also again.
Councillor Schulis?
It's all good, yes. Oh, any questions from council? Sorry.
I just wanted to say that, you know, it's nice to see that the bylaw, the incidents are now down to 1 page, and it really has come down considerably, so it's great work, Corey, and we just have to keep on it, I guess. And
Oh yeah, it's coming good though. People are working more with us, like we meet, like I said, once a month, which makes a big difference.
yeah.
We picked the ones that are like the longest and the hardest, and chip away at them, and people are starting to catch on it.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna work with them.
Okay, Councillor Blank?
Yes, Corey, thank you. That was my question too, is are they being cooperative? Or are there still a lot of stalemates out there that are just being,
There's probably 4 that are actually stand out, like really stand out for a year. They still just won't
they just
won't
won't?
acknowledge us. They won't acknowledge the CEO. She's tried.
Okay.
There's letters from herself.
Okay,
We feel like the CEO, myself, the building CBO, the planner, we've all worked on. We've made phone calls, emails. They just don't listen. So those are a little bit tougher. Where we have to step up something. We're gonna figure that out. So
okay.
we're working on that also.
So you're working out towards that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Madam CEO?
So if I may, just to clarify for that, so as the process was agreed upon to reporting back to council, so with the POA fines, we're at the next step. So there's a standard form that has gone out. Failure to respond to that within the 30 days, then we come back to council and closed to identify which items are still outstanding.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else from council? Not seeing any. This is received as information. We don't need a mover, or do we?
No, you don't need a mover, if I may just add, so there was at the staff meeting, there was also direction as it pertains to animal control. The bylaw officer, Corey, is still going to follow up with the SPCA. We are still waiting for some type of agreement with them because we no longer have kennel services at Bonachere Valley, and they haven't responded yet. So Corey, you're following up with that so that we can have a bylaw come forward to council. Okay.
So this is just direction, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I just want to, we talked about it at the staff meeting, just wanted to let council aware, because we had brought forward some reports that I think April 30th was when our agreements ended, when the kennel closed in Bonachere Valley. Thank you.
Okay, very good. We'll move on to 9.12, fire activity and calls for service, found on pages 43 and 45. Chief, please.
Okay, start off with repairs and maintenance. The 3 pumper trucks have had their annual pump tests completed. All 3 trucks passed again. That's an annual thing for regulation for cover, so make sure truck pumps at their capacity. Safety's been done on the North Hull trucks. The South Hull starts in August into September, so their trucks will be up to the end of September. All 3 of their trucks will be safety, annual safety, that's normal maintenance. As for fire inspections, I attended the St. Francis Memorial Hospital for annual mock fire drill and evacuation. The staff once again did an excellent job up there. They always do a good job. All the vulnerable offices in our township do. This is a we have to attend the evacuations, make sure they've checked off everything, done, follow all procedures, so like, no issues. And I've been in talk with the 3 principals throughout the schools this year again. They have to have 3 fire drills every semester in the fall and in spring. I have to attend 1 each time, make sure they're done in fall, so they're already lining up dates for me for that to come September and October, so proactive, which is always been good. All the principals in this area always been great for the EOs, so that's what's going on there. Training and meetings on June 6th, the Brantford County Chiefs meeting in Pembroke. Brantford County approved replacement of the 24-year-old equipment for dispatch. It's been an ongoing issue for at least 7 years. It's now resolved, so that's finally put behind us, and I believe the company's going to start replacing that any week now. Sometime in August, supposed to replace, so that will ensure there's a dual system. Right now, we only got one system. If one system goes down, we're going to phone calls, but that will stop that. That will ensure the main system goes down, they have a double backup. There'll be 3 systems are in place for a backup. So if it never happens, the main dispatch will be able to be covered. ACL Fire Chief attended the training meeting that night. The Ontario government is now working with the federal government to now again use AECL's fire training facility as possibly a regional training center for us. Instead of us having to send people away, we can have like day trips. They're very interested in doing that, so that'll be Brantford County Regional Training Center. Which gives the same kind of training as required by the OFMs to go to fire college, so we're hoping to have that in place by spring. So they'll offer every single course there is, right from firefighter 1 to a fire officer 4.
Excellent.
Inspectors, everything, so instead of taking motels, paying all that, we're gonna send a couple firefighters day trips or no work weekends with us, but they are very close to finally getting that finalized after 6 years.
That's really good.
So that's one of the big things we got.
If I may, through the chair, could I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Are they seeking like council support for that? Like, because it says they're trying to get the Ontario government to grant it. Like, are they looking for letters of support from municipalities that would confirm that they would use this service if
No,
we had a
it's
regional
give
center?
to anybody fire department in the province.
Okay, so
but
they're not
so
looking for it from
Brantford
us.
County first offered, like, say there's a course, Brantford County Fire Department. No, what the province has to do is you have a big checklist to get through from the Ontario Fire College to close the actual facility. So once the government approves all that, and the federal government approves it for liability, it'll be a facility for us then. That's all right.
Okay.
It's so
Thank
how
you.
it works is the regional training center will be open to that area firefighters first. And if they don't fill the classroom, they get offered to other areas, but we become priority at a lower cost than other
Okay.
areas.
Thank you.
All right.
And then the legacy program, which is grandfathering, is now open until July 1st. It closes on September 30th permanently. Madawaska Valley has firefighters that are eligible to be grandfathered yet in the current time frame. 5 of the firefighters who are new will have to be certified over the next 3 years, which we're already working on. And currently we have 24 certified firefighters, so we're in better shape than pretty much everybody else in the county.
Excellent.
We're having firefighters that actually truly are certified, not just grandfathered. They actually have the proper training, they are signed off and recognized by the province. So that's between the 2 halls. So applications are being filled out right now for the 5 firefighters for the grandfather. We will know by the end of September. So out of that 5, they will audit for 1 firefighter to see their actual training records. And if we pass that, which we will, because we do get the proper training and training records, those other firefighters, so that brings up to 29 fully trained firefighters as of the end of September. Which is a big step.
Can I just ask, so Corey,
you can.
on the 29 number, based on our minimum requirements for our quota, like a minimum amount, are we meeting that threshold?
Or well above it.
Or we are, okay, great.
The minimum threshold, I think, is 14 for the fire department, like, town's fair side, the amount of firefighters.
Okay.
Is what the original was.
Yeah,
We're at 24 already.
okay,
So
good.
29, but then as of 2026, all of them have to be certified. But I say, we're so far, like, proactive.
Yeah,
So we're in good shape. Our firefighters take it serious. So same thing, when new hires, I run that through. You realize here's what the requirements for you,
yeah,
and everybody's been real receptive. And we've got 6 signed off trainers actually already in place. Kim's gonna be the 7th, so we can sign off and do our own internal training. So
that's great.
gotta bring a proctor in, so it'll save us money in the long run after that gets completed also.
No, that's good, that's great.
Okay, continue, sir.
Okay, fire department activities and attendance. Attended George Vanier's open house kind of thing. It's for any current students or any new students and new parents to the area to meet members of the public, or like members like such as myself, Brantford County health nurse, the Brantford County health inspector, An Indigenous motivational speaker as a counselor throughout the Renfrew County from the school board. Any, the police, paramedics are there, so everybody knows sort of who you are in the community. Breakdown and any new students that come in, you have an idea who's in the community, what the school's like. So if they have any questions in general, we're there to answer for fire prevention or whatever. So that was attended by about 15 I think parents. It's along with 20 some students. So the kids would go out and play, do their thing, and parents go around and mingle, and we hand off any kind of information, which is a very good way to meet people in the public. They get to know who's who in the public. On Canada, Madawaska Valley Fire Chiefs or firefighters attended the Royal Canadian Legion. We handed out, met 227 children, 156 adults for fire prevention. We handed out bags for adults and kids. They got to spray the hose, got to look at the truck, so 227 kids, quite a turnout. We got a reception, they seemed to enjoy it. We're there about 4 hours, so it went well. And the firefighters that were there were Captains Basil Bansky, Captain Earl Dabrowski, Captain Delmer Rakowski, Captain Jimmy O'Malley, firefighter Sean Dabrowski, Michael Rakowski, Mike Hubers, and myself. So
Good.
they attended pretty good. With the upcoming Bay Days, South Hall's got, I believe I spoke to this morning, 7 firefighters when I attended the same thing.
That's great.
So we'll have big
Thank
attendance
you
again,
for
and the guys
Yeah.
will be able to, and we have
Seal Blitz.
For the Seal Blitz, not Bay
Yeah.
Day?
Seal
Thank you. I appreciate all your hard work.
No, I've talked to someone on the phone, and they
collecting
got confirmed by
them.
email, I think at least 7 firefighters.
Excellent.
So it'll be just as good as this up here, so we have it spread out. You don't have to all congregate in one spot, we mingle.
Well, it's
So
wonderful
the kids
PR
will
for
be
the
able to
fire
trucks, house
department.
complete, spray the hose, and other firefighters will be able to do toss the adults. So we got a good contingency of people down there again, so.
Thank you. I
So that will-
really, really appreciate your
Yeah, no, the
hard
firefighters
work
are doing,
corralling.
no,
That's
they're doing good
wonderful.
to get along, to get everything to come together a little bit better down there all the time.
Good.
We get nowhere, so, and the one thing I noticed about our firefighters down at South Hall, now they've taken initiative to learn the fire prevention part of things. So people ask them, no matter in the public, they know the stuff, they explain it nicely, so they're coming along real good down there. It's good to see, it's nice to work with them.
That's great.
Absolutely. I mean, Mr. Chief, 227 children. That's a good number.
That's a good number.
Very good, right? So
Very big number.
that's our future in a way, but you know, even
Exactly.
156 adults. So thanks for the good work. Thank you.
Start recruiting now.
Junior firefighters. Yeah.
Fireworks, they're going to be held on September long weekend. The reason we didn't do it in the August long weekend, we're sure the fire band will be lifting the time. And then with the CO Blitz, it sort of makes it hard to get firefighters in both places, like work all weekend. A lot of guys go away on big fish tournaments, so September long weekend, everything starts to wind down. There's more firefighters will be able to get it done, so it doesn't interfere two towns are trying to work together in one township, so.
It's a nice way to end the summer.
It
If it
is.
had to be alternative date.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Better than-
Interfere from one place, pull from the other, and work together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think there's 1 or 2 North Hall firefighters who can do it also to help out, make sure everything's runs smooth, so we get everything set up, so they're good for CO Blitz for us again.
Good.
And then it's now to the fire ban on June 1st. Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry issued a total restricted fire zone in the entire province. We then issued our total fire ban to try and prevent confusion between the levels. Restricted fire zone means absolutely nothing. That's a lockdown stage you're going to get. The province trumps ours, even though we left ours at a 1. Then you put a fire ban on, they're still going to trump theirs, but we'll show you what to follow. So on July 11th, at 4 p.m. with no warning, they lifted the restricted fire zone.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
scrambled the next
Yeah.
day, when contact, Earl contacted me right away. Went put it on our line, got the newspapers notified right away, Earl and Darcy Sheehan went out, changed all the signs immediately the next day. So everybody could go back to every campfire, we were trying to cause any more confusion when they dropped the bomb on us. The OFM is now trying to work with the MNRF to keep this from happening ever again, where OFM has to get them to fill out a form, then it gives like 2 or 3 days notice to the municipalities. Here's what's coming, so we can work hand in hand, not just drop surprises on us. So OFM is now involved, and they're not happy the way it was done the last twice they've done this to us. So the Fire Marshal's office is very proactive on this to get this straightened out, so it's easier for us, because we have to do all the enforcement. And they're saying, where's our compensation? We're doing your enforcement for you. Where the municipalities take cost you guys your enforcement? So the whole lot we're into works right now. It probably take till next year by sound of, but OFM is proactively after the MRF to get things straightened out and cost recovery kind of better for the municipality to cover off. You get nothing from them when you're doing something like this. Some people are upset with the fire restrictions. over the rules and we had, like I said, we had no choice but to follow. People were calling up saying, I don't understand why we can't have this rain. I explained to them, it's not my decision, even if I wanted to be.
Yeah.
It's like some guy right down Malaysia said, listen, this isn't the way to talk, like, it's not our call. They said, well, down by Peterborough, I said, Peterborough's not restricted fire zone. When you hit Peterborough County and south, or even Frontenac County, just above Kingston, Ottawa, they're not restricted, they're not in the fire protection area. There's 36 zones. So the very east part is Brantford County. Like I said, you hit Peterborough County, you hit bottom part of Lennox and Addington, Bellows, you get along Highway 7 is where that restricted fire, the fire protection area of Ontario ends. They have no agreement, so they get fires, they have to put them out themselves, there's no agreement for water bombers and nothing around them. So we hit this other area where we're in with a fire plan, an agreement with the NRF. That's why we can restrict fire zones in this area and not the bottom part of the province. Hopefully that explains to the public a little better.
Great explanation.
Because a lot of people don't understand. I understand because it's very technical. You look at the system, like your website's not real friendly, but hopefully that helps out for when this ever does happen again. I don't know what will happen this year, hopefully, but if it ever does come up in another year, hopefully I'll try and explain better to the public why and where this comes from, sort of, for less confusion.
Chief, if you don't mind, maybe this is a good place to bring up the, the fireworks when there's a total ban. And, there was a few people that approached me and said there was fireworks, and then there was a full ban, just like that long weekend in July and so on. Now, is there a penalty? I know we're educating the public. I mean, it's all over the place. I don't know how people can miss it. You did obviously get complaints. You said something like 5 or 6 or whatever.
Complaints on fireworks being set off.
Yeah.
All over the township. If there wasn't one area specifically, it was all over the township.
Is there a fine of some kind?
It's a $605 ticket if you're caught.
Okay.
Because
So-
when we got these people setting off fireworks, they said, I'm setting them off on a dock, I said, yeah, they're drifting back to shore because I picked up your
Yeah.
warnings. I
Gee.
got evidence where the stuff had drifted back. We had one case
Yeah.
where they put a very large raft, tied on real long fuses with real long sticks, with road flares,
Gee.
Wow.
and they went off for half an
It's a
hour and shot
commitment.
off
Yeah.
two sides of the lake into the bush, which was pines.
Terrible.
All pines and spruce.
Yeah. Terrible there. So
Did they get a fine?
that fine, that fine should deter them though.
People don't realize the danger of this stuff. Like some things you see, so let's say like we don't take it. It's not a joke. We show up. I know somebody say, "Well, you're getting over." No, you realize your neighbor's house could burn. That's what I look at. You're not like I find the warnings in the pine plantations. I found my evidence. Not like the wind blows thing. You don't realize it. You're not just going up over like trenching over the water and stuff. That's why you're so strict with strict fire zone and that long, and we'd advertise heavily. Like
Oh, I know you do.
and
Yeah.
the one thing I hate to do is ever, under the Fire Protection Act, is ever issue a fine.
Yeah.
Like I say to everybody, we go with 10 steps before we get to that point. We want to educate you first. If we have to warn you, we will. We don't want to issue fines. We're not an enforcement agency, we're an education agency. We're here for public safety, not enforcement. And my firefighters are very good at telling people that. We're not here to give you a ticket, even when they do show up. They'll say the chief code to speak to you, that's his discretion. Don't tell me we're going or not, and like I said, every case is different. I guess we had 3 fires, one bushfire out we had a structure fire right here in town. 5 to 5, we had a bushfire out on Curtis Road. And then at 20 to 10 last night, we had an intended barrel burn out on Chepesky Mill. We got there, there's nobody around. Burning garbage, just had a garbage can. So,
You know what's amazing is of all these wildfires all over the world, they should get it. Like that's something we cannot have here.
no, like we had
That'll
to,
destroy us.
the other thing is we had to send our firefighters down to Calabogie. We'd asked to send 2, they changed and asked for 4. So we went down there with 4 that day at the half ton. I have got more compliments about those 4 firefighters
Excellent.
than
That's good.
Excellent.
you can ever imagine.
Good.
That's
They said
good.
they're the best. They said of all the hundreds of firefighters, our guys stood out better than everybody else.
Excellent.
They said,
That's good.
I only work 15 or 20 minutes and sit down.
Perfect.
He said our guys worked for hours without a break. They had to take them food. They just kept digging. They said they never seen firefighters like it. So
Wow.
That's great.
spoke
Good.
very well.
Kudos.
We should be proud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. You should be proud, and it is emotional, right? Because there's pride in that kind of commitment. Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, so
Yep.
like there's firefighters from
They
both
need
stations.
credit
Like,
and public credit.
Yep.
It was Dustin Smolsky, Justin and Michael Rudakoski, and Monica Swank.
Wow.
Oh,
Excellent.
very good.
So
Excellent.
That's good.
like they said,
Good for
They'd
them.
never seen firefighters like that.
Well,
That came right from the M&R. That came from Greater Madawaska Fire Chief. That also came from the M&R's platoon chief, as coordinating the whole thing. And that wasn't mutual aid call. That was actually a request from the M&RF for help. So there's a different. Mutual aid would have had to go free. M&R will
Reimburse.
reimburse us for that.
Yeah.
So, but did you notice? So we do have excellent. They still hear firefighters mentioning how good our fire department was, how professional they were.
Perfect,
That's
thank you.
wonderful.
That's great.
Okay, good stuff.
Can I just, on
Yeah,
that
go
note,
ahead.
just again, and Corey, thank you for the explanation on the restricted fire zones. And there was a lot of people not quite understanding. When it was a full province ban, I think people got it, but then when they started this zone, not this
Yeah.
zone, and people, couldn't kind of keep up to date with the information, so. Anyway, at the end, when we were still under the zone, but Ottawa, say, wasn't, or Southern Ontario wasn't, I think it's really important for the public to understand the biggest issue there. Yes, it may have rained, and yes, it was soaking wet, but the problem being, we're in the bush. It's nothing but trees, and the M&R's resources were fully at capacity and beyond stretched with dealing with all the northern fires in Northern Ontario and Quebec. So, if a fire broke out in this region with nothing but bush, they had no water bombers, they had nothing to send us. So I think that's, because people go, well, it's rained for a week, what's going on? So no, the risk was low, but the issue being with zero resources to send, if a fire occurred, that was the reason. That was a main reason that ban was not lifted in this region
That's
earlier.
correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, people ask what we take into account. First of all, during that straight fire zone, you're gonna give us updates at 10 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have our guaranteed, just like clockwork. You know you're gonna get that report. So that's the first thing we take into account. They're giving us precipitation updates for Pembroke and Bancroft. We cover at both ends. You're giving us fire rating, like how quick the fire will spread, what the drought rating is, which is what it's going to be, how deep it's going to burn into the ground. Like, we're getting updates steady. We go and take our firefighters take on their own time, go dig holes in the bush, see how dry it is, see how much the rain did rain. A lot of times they wouldn't go down quarter of an inch, it would run off. Like I said, our firefighters report back to me daily, so the public knows it's not just a knee-jerk reaction to say, I want to ruin somebody's home. We don't. It's a tourist area, we're trying to keep that going, but so there's a whole lot in place before you ever issue something like that.
Well,
I
I for
just-
one would like to
Mr.
congratulate
Mayor is,
all of our
sorry.
fire department,
I
because
thought
I
she was
think that was
finished.
handled very well.
It was.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Councillor Schulis. The only thing I wanted to add, and Councillor Mike touched on it, and I think you can see that all members of council are very, very pleased with the fire department and the role they played. So I would just like you to pass on council's thanks to all your members and let them know that we really appreciate the job they did and are aware of the hard work they're doing, and we thank them.
I will do this in the meeting here. I'll send an email immediately, so
Thank
they
you.
know firsthand it wasn't paid or, no, so they get it right away.
Good stuff.
Appreciate that.
Kind words for sure, yeah. Councillor Blaine?
I also want to commend, there was a number of store owners that sell fireworks that had signs on saying
Yes.
no fireworks.
I
So
noticed that.
we
Yeah.
appreciate that too.
Yeah.
The community was behind us and sending out the good word. So I think that we should acknowledge those who did as well and thank them.
You
Yeah.
know, somebody pulled their firewood off the shelves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seen
Yeah.
that too.
Yep.
So
There are a lot of
Yep.
things.
Excellent.
we weren't asked, they just did it.
They just did
proactively
it,
for
yeah.
us. So no,
Yep.
community's great support for us. It's amazing
Yep.
how they
Yep.
That's awesome.
work with us.
And that's what community is, isn't it?
But it is very
Great.
much so. We're lucky to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. All right, we've covered that, and new calls for service, sir?
So we finally got the CGAS report figured
I love
out.
it.
So, this goes from May 1st to the end of June, does the first fire report we got, so we finally got the system figured out with the little bugs we had, but it makes it save a whole lot of time, makes it clear, so it's a great thing to have, one of the best tools I've ever had in this area as a fire chief.
Yeah.
It's easy to find, easy to reference, everybody looks at it nice, clear, as I enter, you'll see them, so it'll be continued from here on, so because that's a question, but it's a lot clearer, not like little numbers here and there, and no missed step, because that's it, black and white.
Okay, is there anything else, Chief? Yes?
I just
Madam
wanted to
CEO?
add to that. So what council doesn't see because of freedom of information and public information, there's also all the addresses and the names and some notes that are attached to that. So this spreadsheet is just condensed so that you can only see the types and subtypes. But it'll save Corey having to fill in 3 separate types of forms now, and it's all condensed in there, so,
It's a
yeah.
big time saver. It's one of the best things we ever got. Thank
Yeah.
you, CEO, for doing that. She's the one that discovered it, so.
Yeah, no, it works great.
Job well done. Okay, anything else on this report, Chief?
I think-
That's all, Councillor Blank?
Yes. Could you, because I've been asked on a couple of occasions and concerns from public, can you give us a Reader's Digest version of inspections for fire regulations in commercial, educational, and residences within, large residences within the municipality? What are your,
We do all our fire inspections in the fall because most people settle down back from school vacation. So we usually try and do the outer lying areas first, which we've pretty much done over the last 4 or 5 years. But we will hit all the apartment buildings
okay,
anywhere in the municipality. We do all commercial buildings once a year, they have to be.
okay,
All vulnerable occupancies have to be checked and had a mock evacuation every year.
yes,
So that's done by myself, and sometimes I bring Darcy Sheen, because depending doing mainly like outlying areas for house smoke alarms or residential.
yes,
I'll bring somebody else, because somebody can say, you said this, you didn't say that, a few last questions, or some people get defensive.
okay,
We can't force our way into somebody's house. We don't enter the house, we ask them to set the alarm off ourselves, we do not go past the doorway. We don't wanna be intrusive, so I've always had a little stick, and say, can you just set your alarm off for me? Okay, it's there, good, thanks, check it off. So we always do it in the fall, like I said, that's usually late September, early October. But the other residents, like the apartments, or that, they're done through the year. As time goes, I'll pick 3 or 4 apartments. Spare day, give a heads up, and then we'll go and they have to be inspected every year.
okay, thank you.
All right.
Sorry,
Oh,
one more question.
one
just
more.
while we're here, and that's it, I promise.
Yeah.
No more questions. I'm just looking at this new report, it's good. Is there, when you enter though, because we used to be able to track calls for service versus North Hall, South Hall, and that's
Yes.
good information to
And it
see
separates it as
where
well.
it's- So is there a way to add that on the
You probably
summary?
get that.
Yeah.
Just expand,
Yeah, we're sure
Into a
she's wanting
column.
for information, so we can put that under.
yeah, and
We
then
were
you
sure you
just
said
show
first time, so
total.
this is the first one, I said,
Yeah,
we want to hear what you're missing.
yeah.
what you-
No, it's,
what
well,
that's-
it's basically what we had before, it just
Oh, you
doesn't
know,
show.
but we weren't sure exactly what you want for
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
guessing before. But
I
we'll
think
get that
it's
checked.
good to know how much, where,
Oh, no, we definitely get that.
who's responding.
That's just another little click for,
And then,
Yeah.
of course, there's double alarm, right, there's double response too, so when they all go, so.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever, just.
We'll ask that it
because
be
I'm
added to
gonna
the next
forget.
report.
That's
Yep.
easy.
I might as well just ask.
Yeah,
why
I've
we're-
got it on the
Great, thank you.
staff direction.
and one
Thank you.
thing, back to the fire alarm, if somebody does request an inspection on a house, we do it. So say like a resident says, I'm not sure, my parents are living in this house, can you go check on it?
Okay,
The alarms, we do requests like that. We do
Oh,
get
okay.
people in the public,
You
yeah,
do,
that's
eh?
part of the
Okay.
report, so
All
if
right.
you do it, there's no cost to them.
okay.
That's part of our service, just especially for seniors mainly that.
I would, yes, I was actually asked about that, okay,
I'm a senior.
okay, thank you, thank you. Good information. Good information.
Okay, so that concludes the report. Thank you very much, Chief. I know there's some correspondence. Now, this is just information, so
It
we don't
is.
need any motion or anything. Under correspondence and information, a letter from the Ministry of Solicitor General, July 19th, 2023. Chief, fill us in on this one.
If I may,
Or
through the chair,
maybe,
I'll
CEO.
just kind of speak to this one. So we had advised council, I believe it was late winter, the new council, make them aware that under the auspice of the previous council, we had made a proposal with these joint municipalities that we would have one police board as opposed to each of the municipalities having to meet that criteria. We had to submit it to the Ministry of Solicitor General, and they've just confirmed in writing that they've approved that structure, that composition that we proposed. But as you can see through the letter, and I did speak briefly with the Sergeant de Severio, and we really don't have any updates as to what the next steps are from this at this point.
So right now, we're all fine with the way it is, right?
We are.
Okay. No questions on this one? Okay, we are finished then. I'm just going to pass it on to the next one.
So that would be
All right,
recreation.
so our-
Recreation, yeah.
Our next committee is chaired by Councillor Blank, and it is the Recreation and Community Development portion.
Thank you, Cor.
Thanks, Gordon. Okay, so just under Recreation and Community Development, our municipal reports, we each have a copy of the minutes from the Cumbernauld Rec Committee meetings, April 11th. And with recommendation the Cumbernauld Rec Committee meetings be accepted as presented, as well as the Cumbernauld Rec meeting, May 9th, and Barry's Bay Rec Committee meeting, May 19th, and that's it for those. So the minutes are all enclosed in your... You need a resolution for each one? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, for the first one, 10.1.1, the meeting of April 11th, Cumbernauld Recreation Committee meeting minutes.
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Micah, seconded by Councillor Olszewski. All in favor? Thank you. 10.1.2, Cumbernauld Rec minutes from May 9th, 2023. Be accepted as presented. We have a motion by Councillor Olszewski, seconded by Councillor Schulist. All in favor? Carried. And the Barry's Bay Recreation meeting minutes, May 19th, 2023. That's 10.1.3. Barry's Bay Rec recommendation that the recreation minutes be accepted as presented. We have a mover by Councillor Schulist, seconded by Mayor Wilmer. All in favor? Carried. All right, 10.1.4, Recreation Community Development Update for July and August. And do you have that? And Hannah, please.
So my first portion there, just to touch base about the Artisan Festival. It took place on July 8th. I have the revenue expenses listed there. We did advertising through a number of different venues, though despite that, we did have lower turnout than previous years, but overall feedback has been positive for the event. Factors like the weather and the absence of other events that bringing people into town do impact our attendance levels, but overall it was a successful event for our vendors and those who came by. So. I'll move on then to the programming portion. So summer programming, including our swim program, is going well. For another year in a row, we're reaching capacity levels for our swim program, which is fantastic. We also have 12 youth signed up for bronze. That'll take place in a few weeks, which is wonderful. Last year we just had 3, and these are our future swim instructors. So we're really pleased that we have a wait list. 12 is our cap, and we have a wait list, so it's wonderful. And those are taking place in Cumbernauld this year. And of course, I'll do a full report on the swim program after that wraps up in mid-August. We also did introduce swim fitness this year that was targeted to seniors, and it was very well received. We've had a lot of positive feedback from participants. It was in Barry's Bay for session 1. It's in Cumbernauld for session 3. And we got a lot of ideas and suggestions from our participants on how to improve and grow the program next year. So we'll definitely look at bringing that back. We've also had general programming such as our Wattlesworth program, which is a student-led initiative. It's going really well. In the first 2 weeks, we had around 150 participants, which is great. It's a self-funded program. The prizes are donated by local businesses, and people are really enjoying it, which is fantastic. Tennis court public use has been increasing as the summer progresses. We've been receiving positive feedback from the public regarding those no-cost hours that are new this year. And again, a full report on tennis courts will be made later in the fall once the season is completed.
Okay, just the photography contest.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
So we also did a photography contest this year. That was something that was suggested at the previous council and committee meeting, so we did go forward with that. So it has just closed as of yesterday. I don't have a count on entries, but I believe we had over 50, which is wonderful. So we've got lots of great entries there as well in a couple different categories. And then just moving to the general update section of my report, a new fingerboard with the inclusion of the Murray Brothers Memorial Park was installed at Arena Road and Highway 60 in early July. Then a new sign was installed at the Visitor Information Center. This was kind of a initiative that was prior to my time, and it's finally gotten done, which is fantastic. We also completed remedial work to the stone stairs at Mayflower Park in Cumbernauld. This was budgeted and paid for in 2022, but the work was just pushed to this spring. There also is a couple other things happening in the park. A new pair of swings to replace the tire swing and new climbing equipment, and that's all scheduled to be later this summer or in the fall. And then also just after receiving information on council discussion of the halfway signs and locations and size for the roads at the roads tour, quotes and samples have been received. I forwarded them for review, and after hearing from a few of the folks at the table here, we'll be ordering those this week, and Public Works will be installing them.
Okay. So that's all as information?
Could-
Yes, oh, sorry,
yeah,
Councillor
yeah.
Schulst.
Yeah, true, Madam Chair. Yes, on the tennis court and all that, I know you bring it in a report, but I did visit the tennis court, and I know the members are quite happy with what is happening. I think there was a lot of positive feedback and all that. So, and you're saying that there's an increase in usage, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But again, you don't have the numbers. I'm just saying is that what I'm hearing right now, it's all positive.
Yeah,
I'm
when
glad we did this.
we had, thank you, we had the numbers for May and June, which were steadily, May was decent, June it grew, and then just the first week of July, I think we exceeded the June numbers of people using it for public use. So it is definitely being used in those afternoon, evening hours.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Micah?
Just on the photography contest, Hannah, are we, I just forget, are we going to do that seasonally? Like, will we do it in the fall, the winter, the spring?
We could, so-
Because I think it was good. Like, there seemed like there was a lot of activity going on online with sharing it, and
Yeah,
the
so-
comments were very positive, and
Yeah, we can definitely do it again.
I think it'd be good.
yeah.
Is it time, like, is it a lot of time, or is it easy?
No, it is not a huge amount of time for sure. So
I'd love to see
people
that in the
submit it
fall, 'cause there'd be
online.
beautiful pictures in the fall.
So it is mostly managed at this point by like the programming student, but it is not something that's
Yeah, it's not as busy for you either in the fall, so.
exactly. Yeah, I think so.
So if that we could do that, fall and winter, we get some good stuff, I think.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Just
yes.
one- yeah. Just
Councillor
one more
Schulz.
to you, Madam Chair. I'm quite excited about the halfway signs. It's just around the corner.
yeah.
Giddy up. Yeah.
We're halfway there.
You know what? We're halfway there.
Sorry.
Very good.
Okay, so we'll continue on then. Recreation development is accepted as information, and rescheduling 10.1.5, rescheduling of Canada Day fireworks.
So as we all know, on July 11th, the township moved out of a total fire ban, and therefore we have the go-ahead to set our date for our postponed fireworks. We're requesting that this is rescheduled for Saturday, September 2nd, which is the Saturday of the long weekend. This is the preferred date of the fire department, and a long weekend ensures lots of people will be around to celebrate. The rain date will be the following day, Sunday, September 3rd. I've also been in contact with the representative from Heritage Canada, who is kind of our program officer for the grant funding we received, and it's not our grant funding is not impacted by this date change, provided we supply the scheduled date. And so, once this resolution is passed, should it be passed, I'll send that along, and we should be good to go.
Okay, so the recommendation is the council approves the fire chief's official recommendation that Saturday, September 2nd, 2023, be the rescheduled date for the Canada Day fireworks, with Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, as a rain date. Do we have a mover? Councillor Olszewski, seconded by Mayor Wilmer. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Very good.
10.1.6. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call you in.
Okay.
10.1.6, request for support from the Opiongo Snowbirds for a grant, page 61 to 63.
So I have received a request for support from the Opiongo Snowbirds. They do want to move forward with a grant application for trail maintenance on township-owned property. The property in question is part of the B102 trail. It's a stretch of rail bed towards Madawaska. I do have the coordinates there if you're interested in looking it up. The project won't move forward unless it's 100% funded by the grant, and the work would be completed prior to this year's snowmobile season if it's successful. The proposed project would eliminate or reduce standing water on the trail surface, improve the water flow, and enhance rider safety in all seasons. Specifically, the funding is about $25,000, and I do have the itemized list there of what they're looking to do. I do also have an email from Lynn, the president, with kind of further details on the work they'd like to do. They have noted that financial support from the project would be appreciated, but at a minimum, they would like to have support of council to move forward with the work should they be successful in the grant.
Okay. In respect to that situation, Councillor Micah, myself, and COA Sue Klatt attended the Obiango Snowbirds annual meeting this year, where much of this information was passed on to us. And they are really looking after our trails very well, as are all the other groups. And I think this is something we should support for sure. And if there's a mover to that effect, Councillor Micah, seconded by Councillor Schulist. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I think he can come back in now.
Yes. If I may, through the chair, just to add to that, as a reminder, following that annual general meeting, they did confirm that they'll be attending a September council meeting with updates from their groups, and that'll include the Pathfinders as well, Peterson Pathfinders as well as the Obiango Snowbirds
So
and RCAT.
I didn't read the recommendation as such, but is it okay what we passed? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so we are at, anything else? That's it for Hannah? Thank you. 10.1.7, Facilities and Parks Monthly Report, June, July, and that is Stuart. Whenever ready.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so the off season at PJY continues. I'm glad to report to council that staff were able to make the necessary repairs to the old stage. And we've hosted 2 successful weddings thus far in the arena surface, with 1 wedding and 1 theater production still planned for August. Pickleball has been very successful to date, with all courts typically in use and teams and individuals waiting on the sidelines. So it's nice to see the community supporting that. And working with Hannah and our recreation student. We also have pickleball planned actually for later this afternoon. And what we're trying to do is just judge the overall, if there's broader support from the community on hours, a little bit different than the 10 to 12 hours. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if there's evening support for such activity. And that will allow us to help plan for next year and what we want to do with pickleball next year. So I'm excited to see that. Repairs to the glass and boards are scheduled. They're actually ongoing right now as we speak. The arena surface repairs are scheduled to take place the week of the August 21st. And of course, we've held back funds from the project last year on the arena surface and the boards until that work is complete and satisfied to our liking.
Excellent.
Upgrades
Hold
to
them tight, Stuart. Hold them tight. 2 hands.
upgrades to the ice plant exhaust are also scheduled for August, as well as light and ballast replacements as we begin to ramp up for the coming season. At the same time, well, actually right now, we're moving the netting behind the goal post to mitigate future damage to windows for the upstairs lounge. So that's actually happened yesterday and then finished off this morning.
Good.
And we tested it out, throwing pucks.
Before we change the glass.
Some were more successful than others.
We'll have to make mention to the women hockey players not to shoot the puck so hard next time.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
not recruiting Stuart as a pitcher for the municipal ball team.
The ice plant is scheduled to be turned on the week of August the 28th, and ice building and painting will take place from September 5th to 15th. Our planned opening is scheduled for September 16th, and we held, in anticipation of that, we held our annual user group scheduling meeting, which took place on July the 26th. And I can say that the demand for primetime ice continues to be very strong within the community.
Yes. I attended that meeting, and the groups are very interested in continuing to rent and use the facilities right through for any length of time that we keep them open, either early or late. They're more than happy to, and I'm sure you can speak to that too.
Yes, just a little bit later on, I have Where do I have it? Spring ice. Maybe we'll
Yes.
address that
Yeah.
spring ice. We've also submitted, per council request, we've submitted a request for proposal, or not submitted, but we've initiated a request for proposal to run the canteen at the arena for the coming season. That has been issued and it can be found on the township website, and will also run advertisements in the local paper. That closes on the 24th of August.
It's lots of time, okay.
Ice cancellations. We've talked a little bit about the ice cancellations in the past, and so we also reviewed it with our user groups what our new policy for ice cancellations is going to be this year. Basically, we're matching the least punitive policy that's in our area, which is 50% if not canceled within 7 days. There's a few exceptions to that, of course. Minor hockey, they can't control on the playoffs when teams are eliminated. And inclement weather, bad weather situations, we just ask for 3 hours notice. Again, that the policy is not meant to be punitive really in nature. It's really, we're focused on utilization of our ice surface. So it's if it's prime time, there's a lot of people that want that ice, and if we can just give them a little bit of notice, we can get that ice utilized. And we did a little bit of that last year, and Hannah and I will continue to do more of that this year. When we have ice that's available in prime time, we'll send it a media blast and see if we can't fill that spot.
And you also have said that the supervisor facilities and parks are at your discretion, so sometimes there may be some mitigating circumstances so it's at your discretion.
Yeah, perhaps, maybe an away team is coming, maybe a highway shut down, or, something else has happened that was out of their control. And so if they bring it to my attention, we can review. And again, the purpose of this is to utilize the ice as much as possible, but we also have to have an understanding, of events or things that take place in the community.
And realistically, if full complement of staff is scheduled, that's not fair either. The staff will be paid whether, so that's part of it as well, and it's communication.
Yeah, absolutely. We do schedule certain activities if we have a break in the schedule, ice maintenance activities that we have to do, liability type of thing, ice measurement, depth measurement for the ice, edging along the boards, those types of activities we fit in when we can. But in this, to your point, Councillor Micah, one of the things that we did discuss with minor hockey too is just, especially in the springtime, trying to group the rentals together and minimize the gap. So we kind of said no more than a 2-hour gap in between planned rentals, and they were fine with that.
Good.
So
That's good.
that will also help us with scheduling staff.
Do we need to motion for that cancellation policy or not?
No, we already had in the schedule of fees, it was the 7 hours, so there's no change to that. Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, spring ice. So council had tasked me with investigating some of the costs of spring ice, and through the hydro is obviously our biggest consumer, and we were able to go back. We made a couple of assumptions on my calculations. For example, the billing period was a month long that I was trying to decipher. So we used the May's billing to determine what the off peak hour, kilowatt per hour rate usage would be. So I kind of used that as my assumption. But what you'll see here through the calculations I've provided with you, it costs approximately $73.80 more per day to run in the springtime against our seasonal average. We may see that spike, the same spike in the fall as well. Last year we didn't get started, of course, until middle of November, so we may see that spike in the fall as well. And I think those costs are directly related to, we did experience that second week in April, a heat wave. I don't know if you recall, but it was summer like weather out there, and our snow disappeared quite quickly. And then we had a men's tournament at the end, and so when you have a lot of loading, a lot of people in the arena themselves, and a lot of floods, that also does impact the amount of energy that is consumed. During the extension of the 23 days last April, we rented the ice for 95.5 hours, a revenue approximately of $12,671, and labor was approximately $12,753 during that period of time. So the revenue offset the labor costs for that time. Several groups have expressed a strong interest in continuing on with spring ice, including the expansion of the men's tournament they had this year to a 3-day tournament. I think that would be wonderful for Madawaska Valley. In the springtime, there's not a lot of recreational opportunities or that would bring in tourists or even for locals to take part in. So I think that having a 3-day tournament near the end of April would be great for the community. Looking at the numbers, staff is recommending we proceed with spring ice for the 2023-2024 season to be reevaluated again after the season. And we are recommending that we consider a spring ice surcharge for the next schedule of fees update of $10 an hour for youth and $20 an hour for adult ice time rentals during this period, which would cover off any differences or potential differences in the hydro consumed during that time.
Mayor Wilmer, did you?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Stuart. I do think the surcharge is a very, very good idea and one that will help cover those increased hydro charges. Question, though, maybe towards Sue is this one, we don't have that in our fee of rates, right? And I think we are also having a recommendation that we continue spring ice this year.
Yes.
Do those need a separate motion?
No, they don't need a motion. Actually, what we discussed was the 2024 schedule of fees gets brought to council at the end of 2023. So
Okay.
that would be approved
So
at
it
that
can be
time, but it would be
included
nice
then.
for us to know ahead of time if the intent is that we follow through with that. So when we bring in December the 2024 schedule of fees and charges, then that would be highlighted as a change and we would bring that forward at that time.
Okay, perfect.
And some of the user groups had no problem with that too, as I recall at the meeting.
Yeah, there was no negative feedback on that. It was a general understanding.
Yeah.
But I do think if we were able to decide on spring ice today, that would help us in the springtime fill those ice time slots because they'll be able to know that it's coming versus waiting to December.
Right.
And that's
Yep.
that's why I was questioning, whether we do need a motion.
So you want a motion today to say
just
would
to
be?
give them direction,
Yeah, sure.
'Cause
Okay,
I
we
think
can give direction.
I think it's
sure.
important that we give them every opportunity to
Yeah.
fill those hours.
So Sue, can you write us up a recommendation, please?
Yes, so that council directs staff to amend the 2024 schedule of fee, charges and fees bylaw to reflect a spring ice surcharge of $10 per hour for the youth and $20 per hour for adult ice rentals.
Do we need a date for that
Yeah, and that spring ice fee
spring ice
be
fee?
approved for 2023, 2024.
Till the 21st of April.
Yeah, till the
Until it,
21st.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have a mover?
Okay, so do we have we have a move by Councillor Micah, seconded by Mayor Wilmer. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may, through the chair, I did have a question.
Yes.
So is the same requirement that we have a block of, that we have guaranteed ice
Yes.
before we proceed? Just so that Stuart is aware.
I think that it is pretty well there from the meeting that I was attending and the conversations I've had with Stuart. It is pretty well there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm confident, especially with if the men's tournament does expand to the
Yes.
3 days, that
Okay.
we'll be back in force. In fact, I think it'll be a higher rate than we had previous as far as number of hours.
And I think youth hockey was quite interested as well.
Youth hockey has a wonderful program called, I believe it's called First Shift, and it's introducing young individuals to hockey, and they have a set price. I think it was around $300, something like that. It includes 6 skates, and the youth get fully equipped head to toe with their hockey equipment.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a wonderful
Yeah.
wonderful program, and they would like to extend that into April. It was supposed to be a springtime program, so this would also help out minor hockey. Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to parks. I'm happy to report that the Lakeshore washrooms have been upgraded to the auto locking doors per direction. Signs have been posted accordingly. And for the summer hours, we've selected 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We felt that captured the majority of our local users of the washrooms. And in the winter, or the fall season, I'll probably reduce that from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as daylight hours fade. Vandalism within our park, unfortunately, continues. And township staff are now generating police reports and posting on social media and responding as quickly as possible to remove such vandalism.
I do know that there has been some conversation at the table here about cameras, and I think that is something we're still looking forward towards at some point in time to stop the vandalism. And if someone in the community sees it, please report it. Thank you.
On a more positive note, the 20 new picnic tables have been assembled and stained. 10 of those tables have been utilized to replace those that have been taken out of service, and 10 remain in reserve and are currently being utilized for special events such as the volleyball fundraising tournament, CO Blitz, and so on and so forth.
And we'll know Heritage Days next year.
And we'll know Heritage Days.
And
You never know.
thank you to the work put on by the group to make sure that there was enough stuff available for the volleyball tournament. Kudos to the volleyball tournament people. It was an excellent run event, very healthy, very clean, large groups of people having a great amount of fun. The whole area was totally well looked after, and I see they did raise a good amount of money, so congratulations to them and thanks for the efforts. And I know CO Blitz is underway.
Yes. Yes, I should note, too, for the organizers of the volleyball tournament, that township staff were amazed of how clean it was after that number of people in the park, and everyone took pride in cleaning up after themselves, and it was really nice to see, and so, yes.
Yeah, good.
If I may, through the chair, I wanted to note as well to that, I was in attendance as well, and I was very pleased to see how many park staff that were on, I think they were maybe the flower waterers that were coming around, and they were checking to make sure there was still some empty bags under the garbage bags and checking the bins. So it was a great collaboration.
Yes, we had Jocelyn taking care of that, and she did a great job.
Yeah, she was good.
Okay, on to baseball. So we had some concerns partway through the season in the batter's box that were getting kind of dug down, and this was a great example of collaboration with some local community members, specifically Tracy Murray for helping us locate some clay, and for Paul Trader for providing us with that clay. And through that, we were able to repair batter's boxes on both baseball diamonds and the pitcher's mound on the hardball diamond.
That's great. I second your enthusiasm. I love to see that. We've gotten away, I think, over the years of private business and individuals in the not totally, but it's I love seeing this. There's many stories throughout the years of how businesses have come together and built these recreation facilities, and I love seeing that.
And to help with the maintenance of them.
Yeah,
So
the maintenance, exactly. I
thank-
mean, the very first volleyball net that was, we talk about the volleyball tournament, the very first one was the Madawaska family. They donated it and all the material installed it. So, kudos and thank you, and that's
for those
wonderful to see.
that continue to support, like the Tracy Murray and the Paul Trader, excellent.
Yes.
Yay.
And to continue on that same note, the Murray brothers have expressed an interest in helping us add material, infield material to the hardball diamond over the next month and a half, and in preparation for next year's season. And so we will spread that around and then roll it down, and then it'll have the winter to settle, and we should have a much better base even next year. So it's great to see.
Some of the ball games and stuff like that with the young, it was really nice to see minor ball out there, and they were having a great time. Lots of grandparents watching too.
Well, there was definitely, I reported previously we were up over 200%. I think that we're north of that number on
Excellent. Rentals.
field utilization. Oftentimes, both fields are in use or were in use,
Yes.
and I would say 5 to 6 times per week, and so it is really nice to see them being utilized. And we still have there are 2 softball tournaments still to come. One I think on the 12th and 13th of August, and then one in the middle of September. So yeah.
That's great.
And on to the Commonmere Community Center. So I'm very pleased to announce that we've hired Jason Grant as our new facility attendant for the Commonmere Community Center. Jason resides in Commonmere, which is very handy for us if small things happen with our user groups or renters. We have someone that's there and quickly able to respond. Also, Jason takes a lot of pride in Commonmere itself as well, and enjoys those facilities. So he knows how important it is to maintain them and keep up the cleanliness. This role was previously a part-time position, and we've now transitioned it into a full-time role. And so the extra hours to make up the full-time will be kind of spread throughout the community, whether it's cleaning some of our outdoor washrooms we provide in the summer, or spending a little bit of time at some of our other facilities to make up the hours for full-time. So Jason's already started with us. If you see him out and about, please welcome him to the team, and we're very excited to have him.
And if I can add, training to start as well on the outdoor rink, Zamboni outdoor rink, and training on that.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that really makes a team strong is when we get into cross training, and so we have backups and backups to the backups plan, and things happen, and so definitely with Jason and with all of our team members, we definitely want to spread the knowledge, so to speak, and one of those aspects is, as you mentioned, learning about the outdoor rink and how it's used. It's small things, but where we get the water from and pump it from the creek, and the quirks about the ice resurfacer down there, and whereabouts in the boards does the water leak through.
Is that why there was a fish at center ice there?
Fire hose.
We'll be sure to post some no fishing signs there.
No ice fishing.
Dead minnows also.
Okay, thank you.
Minnows all over.
Just have one question, and regarding booking events, I know that sometimes when we book weddings, we haven't had them for a while because of the COVID stuff like that too. Is the number of days that people use when they book for a wedding on the Saturday, how much time are they allowed to use at no extra cost beforehand and afterhand after the event or any other event?
That's a great question. So it depends if there are rentals between before, when their rentals are before their event. So for example, if somebody is renting that particular facility on Thursday, it wouldn't be available to them until after that rental is complete. However, some of the bigger productions, especially on the arena floor, take a long time to set up and to take down, frankly. And so wedding setups are typically starting Wednesday afternoon, Thursday for the weekend. And it's something Hannah and I discussed, is perhaps maybe coming up with a wedding package for next schedule of fees updates, where we provide them with that kind of the guidelines to what that is. Okay, you get the arena or the facility starting, let's say for example, Friday morning. And then it continues to Sunday at 2 p.m. or something. And then we could look at, if you want to increase that time, we can have a rate that would capture that as well.
Not just weddings, but events as well.
Yeah, I think it belongs, there's different events take different amount of times to set up. Weddings are traditionally take a long time to set up, but there's we have theater productions, we have stag and does.
Summer camp.
We have summer camps, we have many different events that happen, different production events from church groups and whatnot. So it's I always find it very cool to see how the facilities can transform themselves into many different things throughout the year. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. We are at recommendation, the council receive facilities and parks update as information. Item 10.1.8, tender for the replacement of the air conditioning unit for the PJY Community Center.
Yes, so for tender MV 2023-07, replacement of the air conditioning unit for PJY, was advertised with a closing date of June 28th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Opening of tenders was at same day, June 28th, 2023 at 3:15 p.m. in the municipal office chambers. 2 tenders were received, both from the same company, Valley Refrigeration Limited. The first tender amount was for a 30-ton unit at $117,449.38, HST included. The second tender was received for a 28-ton at $95,159.56, HST included. So I should preface this. As part of our tendering process, prices were broken into items 1 through 4. Item 4 was a 5-year parts and labor warranty, and the tender included a clause that item 4 of the schedule of prices may not be considered due to budget and tender pricing. We wanted to get an understanding what it would cost to have a 5-year warranty, kind of risk-free warranty for the arena. And so that did come back a little pricey. So you can see below in my report that I subtracted item 4 from the 5-year warranty, and you can see that reduced the price for the 30-ton to $104,313.13, HST included, and on the 28-ton, $84,537.56 with HST included. Also, for the purpose of this review, I adjusted those 2 amounts for the 1.76 municipal HST, so you can see what they come to after that is rebated to us. So the first one, the 30-ton, would be $93,937.20, and the 28-ton is $76,128.69. The tender was for a replacement 30-ton air conditioning unit, however, there were 2 separate tenders submitted for the 30-ton and the 28-ton. So staff investigated if a 28-ton would be sufficient and determined the following based on the size of the arena or the area, the area's capacity limit, and the type of activity is expected. So in this scenario, if the upstairs area was at capacity and 60% or less people, so 171 people are dancing or less, and the remaining 114 people are doing light work such as sitting down and socializing, then 28 tons would be sufficient. So I'm not aware of any events that have occurred in the last year that I've been part of the team where I've witnessed more than 171 dancers.
Did you check around the bar?
There have been some lively events, but not to that extent. So I put the math down here so everyone understands kind of where that number comes from, and it comes basically from ASHRAE, which ASHRAE, which is has more than 50,000 members from 130 different countries, and it's a diverse organization dedicated to the advancing of arts and sciences of heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, to serve humanity and promote a sustainable world. So basically, it's the kind of like the governing body that people go to for information. It was established, I believe, in the late 1800s, 1894-ish.
They had air conditioning in 1894?
Well, they had heating and ventilation probably.
They opened the window.
That's right.
They opened the window.
I just Googled now.
So based on that, is there any questions thus far on the tender?
It's good.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Did you want me to read the recommendation?
Yeah, so did you want me to say or did you want to read it?
Through the chair, up to the chair.
Sue, please.
Okay. Through the chair, that council approves staff recommendation toward tender MV 2023-07 replacement air conditioning unit for PJYCC to Valley Refrigeration for the 28-ton submission in the amount of $84,537.56, HST included, subject to requirements of the tender, and that the expense be applied against account 015-2836-799998, PJY capital expense.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, moved by Mayor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. All in favor? Everybody? Great, thank you. For information's sake, how old was the old one?
When they built it.
When they built
yeah,
it?
we believe
Yeah.
it's an original unit.
Yeah.
It was hard to
Yeah.
gain information on
Yeah.
the old unit. We
Yeah.
did some research and but we
It
do
served
believe
its
it's original.
purpose, so this
Yes.
one will do the same. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Anything else? Okay, and correspondence and information. 10.2.1, letter from Wilno Community Rink, thanking for our support with their budget. It's a small little thank you, but it's there. Wilno Community Rink? Yes, it was on a card. It was on a card. Thank you, Hannah. Anything else? Unfinished business? Okay.
Just, can I, under recreation for unfinished
There's lots of notes.
Yes.
I would just like to shamelessly promote CO Blitz Sunday, August 6th at the Cumbermere Community Center. And actually, in all seriousness, I would like to thank Hannah, and I would like to thank Stuart, and I would like to, Mike's not here, but thank him for the support and help with helping to organize, not to help us get this thing put together. It does, there's a lot of moving parts, and I certainly appreciate the support. It's complicated, but there's new people involved, so it's like a learning experience. So it's going to be wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we all agree with that. And thank you to the different departments for all the work they have done. Coming out of COVID and coming into recreation and people, we're moving ahead, and that's great. Thank you. And I'll pass this back.
We have correspondence.
Oh, is there? I did that.
We'll know, right?
Yep.
Yeah, did you? Okay.
Yep.
It
I
was
was
small.
talking
It was
Sue.
small. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a card. She showed us the card. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blank. We'll now move into planning and statutory meeting under the Planning Act. So we do need to wait for Luke.
That would be great,
Sure.
thank you.
Have a great day.
Can we take a 5-minute recess?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
We'll take a 5-minute.
I need water.
Water in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Motion?
Yeah. Councillor Micah, seconded by Councillor Schulis. And we'll resume at 12:30.
Perfect.
12:30 it is.
Is moving along. Planning matters and statutory meeting under the Planning Act. So we'll start with 11.1, which is the municipal report from our planner. And Luke, would you like to go through this, please?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I just have, it's mostly some attachments to this update report for August. I've attached the building activity. Just as a reminder, I'm doing it from, start of the year, January 1 to date, when the agenda was required to be, or the reports were required to be submitted. It was the date was July 26th, so that's the day of the building report. And basically what I'm saying is that it's consistent with last year's activities, and last year's activities were high. So we're staying on trend with that.
That's great.
The second bullet point in my report is a draft approval for the Kings Landing subdivision. I'm happy about that. I'm proud of the way it unfolded and was able to come together with the agent, their group, and their consultant with JP2G. So I think in a good time span, within about 6 months, we got draft approval for the subdivision, which is a good and significant milestone for this development.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, Luke, I think that's great news. So thank you for all your work on that file, too.
Yeah, thank you. We have, as I do with council or committee, 8 new severance application notices. I provide these on my monthly updates as they come in. If anybody has any questions or comments, they can speak to me at this committee meeting or any other time. I'm available to discuss if there's any thoughts about any severance application as they come in, but they're attached. I also knew that the Stevenson Lodge severance applications were relevant in the community, and people were anxious to see those progressing. For information, I don't always do this. The county releases reports for these severance applications. They're mostly intended for the owner / applicant and their agent. They also carry some municipal comments and the likes. The Stevenson Lodge reports, there's 5 severances. I've only attached the first one because council can see it's quite a lengthy report. They are. But I'm attaching them just for information to see, so to show what the county does with these severances and how they report on them. And then following that report, what they do is form a formal decision with conditions that need to be satisfied. And for example, the Stevenson applications, one of them will be a municipal rezoning required to facilitate. So we'll see that back on the table at a later date. And sometimes it takes, as council probably is aware, some time to complete a severance application. That's just the nature of the beast. As I stated in my little memo here, it's been a year since I've been with the township. I've been very thankful and happy since being here. And I just put on some statistics because it's been, again, that 1 year milestone of some of the activity that's taken place. So I hope that's good information for council, and just some items for as well moving forward through the fall. We'll have to circle back with the additional dwelling units, 2 additional subdivisions, and some other items there. So it's just really just an information update for council.
All right. Are there any questions for Luke?
I just have one.
Councillor Micah.
I've just had a couple of people reach out over the last month, because it is summer now, inquiring on their shoreline purchases that they've already submitted, and because there was the moratorium for so long, and I know there was such a huge backup and new staffing, they're just anxious to get it done.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we're at with that, or
So
moving it along.
As I've said in here, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but they are somewhat of an involved process. We've closed 6 transactions for shorelines since about January, February, with the new policy in place. I have 2 more shoreline bylaws coming to August 8th council meeting, which is Fenwich and Norris, another one. Norris is quite a lengthy shoreline. It's a good portion of half of a lake, Stony Lake. And there's other ones certainly coming in once the surveys are completed. So if any time there's a specific one, but maybe I know we spoke about one of those ones before, and that one will proceed.
Anyway, just
Yeah, I think I'm getting on
haven't seen you
top
in
of
a
it.
month. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, that's an active, the shorelines are, there's a lot of them, they can be a little bit complicated, you wanna make sure you do them right, and so, but I think it's working well.
Yeah, good.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not, well, thank you, Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
And
so-
happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Today?
And we do not have,
Oh,
Yeah.
I had wedding in my head.
no.
Congratulations on your work and, yeah, my
You made it, Luke.
You made it.
And Luke, just before you
Oh,
go,
so you passed the probationary period.
so there is no correspondence and information that you are aware of?
No, not otherwise, no.
Okay,
No.
and no outstanding matters.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, well, that concludes the planning matters section.
Okay.
And we'll move into finance and admin.
And of course, we'll see council on August 8th for
Yeah.
some of the other plans.
Job well done,
week
Luke.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have the property tax. Janet.
119.
We're not really moving on those numbers. It's inconsistent.
Hi, Janice. All right, so we're at your report, the property tax arrears update. If you could just give us a quick summary, that would be great.
Okay, it is pretty self-explanatory, however. I would like to add that I just ran a July report since we're at the end of the month. And because I knew we had collected quite a bit in arrears during the month. So we've collected an additional 60,000 that's come off all the different categories. And our new, on the report that I gave you, 945,000 was the total, and the total as of today is 884. So we are definitely making progress. And we had a couple of long-standing arrears that I thought were going to end up going to tax sale. And we finally have some movement on those ones, some payment arrangements and whatnot.
And through the chair, just for clarity, the 884 includes the water, wastewater
Yeah,
that was
so
added
Yes.
on to the taxes
Yes,
of
the
37,583.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's 37.5 that wasn't included before.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yep, Councillor Micah.
Janice, when I look at your report, sorry, I had something in my throat.
Okay.
If you, the unpaid, go to the bottom one where you said the 2019 plus.
Yeah.
Because that's, so of the 2019 plus, I mean, are we talking 10 years, 12 years, 15? Like, is there multiple properties?
There are, I don't know if I know a number. There's not that many. They wouldn't be 10 years or
Okay, so we have nothing beyond 10?
I don't believe there's
Okay,
anything
that's an
that
improvement.
One
That's-
of the ones that is now we just got a $30,000 payment on it. That
That's
one
good.
is, I don't know if it would be 10 years. It's pretty far
Close.
back, but it's one that we don't know what to do with it. It's a really unusual situation. But now we are getting payment, and I think on that account there's only 10,000 left to be paid.
Well, that's great
And it was
news.
going back
Okay.
probably 10 years, but otherwise, I think maybe 5 or 6 years.
Okay, well, that's
is,
a big improvement.
I think the
That's a-
most.
Okay, well, that's
so-
definitely an
And
improvement.
I've actually been making phone calls where I can get phone numbers and actually talking to people, because I figured that the people who have not made any effort to contact me, like we've sent out, notices, bills all the time. letters, giving deadline dates, and so I figured anybody who has not contacted me, we will start to register those properties.
Okay.
Hopefully this year. Like now, final billing is like it's time to work on that now, but hopefully after that we'll get to registering those.
Like, we don't want to, nobody here wants to see that. I mean,
No.
that's a horrible,
No,
terrible
and
thing that
that's
we
my-
don't
like,
want to see, but,
my personal
you know,
thing
at the
is-
same time, it's,
Yeah,
you know.
It's
you
the last
can't-
resort.
It
really.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we can't, like, if people are not, and you know, it's been 3 or 4 years for most because, you know, during the COVID years and that we weren't really actively, plus we had the change of staff and all that stuff. And so we didn't actively collect for a couple years. And now we are, and now I also have more time to devote to it, and which is how I've been making the phone calls.
Well,
and-
congratulations on the big
and
one, because
it-
I don't know if I know which one, I think I
Probably
do,
you
but,
do.
because it's been forever.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's a
been a long
really big
time
accomplishment,
coming,
well
and
done.
it's a unique kind of situation, one where a tax sale is the last thing you want to do. And
Well, good.
Anyway,
Good
so
work.
it's going really well. I'm happy
Yeah.
when I see
That's
those
good.
dollars coming in.
No, that's good news, Janice, and thank you for your work on this. That's great. So,
Okay.
any other questions? No? If not, thank you, Janice.
That's it. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you all.
That's just as information, so we'll move into correspondence and information. 12.2.1 is the resolution from the Corporation of the Town of Essex. And this one,
I don't even know what they're talking about, code red, code black, code.
yeah, it was to do with the hospital bed situations and the dangers facing our emergency response. Do you want to just file that one?
Yes.
Through the chair, I could suggest, because the cusp of the resolution is to request that the province of Ontario recognize like the strain facing local emergency response infrastructure and the gaps within those infrastructures. I could propose a resolution made for Madawaska Valley to address our local situation and bring it forward for consideration.
Yeah.
They just got a big amount of money for
Yeah, no, I'd much prefer that than approving something like this where we aren't even
I can bring
fully
something
sure.
for
Yeah.
review.
I had trouble wrapping my head around what they were looking, I
Okay.
didn't know if they were talking ambulance service, or what were they talking about?
Okay.
And the thing is too, that they just received a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awarded a lot of money to redo the whole emergency department, so.
Yep. Okay, I can bring something and can look at it.
This was me, anyway.
Yes.
All right, so the next one is 12.2.2, resolution from the municipality of Tweed. It's actually forwarded, though, by the town of Plimpton, Wyoming. And it's regarding Bell Hydro infrastructure. And I actually do support this one. This is really calling for them to work together and where they can and combine their services. Yeah, so it makes sense to me. Any comments from anyone?
No, that's good, I agree.
All right, so could I get a mover?
I'll-
Moved by Councillor Olszewski, second by Councillor Blank. All in favor? And that's carried, so we'll support that one. Okay, 12.23 is a resolution from North Perth, vacant building official positions. I think this one is important because this is a problem across the province, and I think we should support this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Any questions?
No.
Nope. Could I get a mover then? Councillor Micah, seconded by Councillor Schulis. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, resolution 12.24, resolution from Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, FONOM. And this one, Sue and I talked about a little yesterday, and I think we should again sort of reword this one and bring it back local to our community, because this is Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, specific. So maybe we can table that one for now and ask Sue to bring it back.
In theory, definitely it's needed.
Yes,
Yep.
it is, but it would be better, I think, if it was tailored to us.
I agree.
Yeah.
And through the chair, I think it was just statements like they're reaching home funding. I'm not sure if that's specific to Northern or if it includes us as well. And there was the social housing agreements, and
Yeah.
so it just was not.
And I think ours, to be quite honest, is more tailored towards our senior population. To be,
Okay, 12.25 is resolution for the municipality of Wawa, and this is OHIP coverage for chronic pain treatment. And again, I support this one. I think it's really important.
Absolutely, we have numerous people in the community.
Yep.
I'll move.
Okay, moved by Councillor Blank, second by Councillor Olszewski. All in favor? That's carried. Then item 2.6, resolution for the Township of Selwyn, short-term rentals.
I will absolutely support this.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well, I think we 100% support this, and so could I get a mover? Councillor Micah, Councillor Schuler seconds it. All in favor? So that one's carried. Then the resolution from the County of Renfrew, rehousing and homelessness crisis, and again, I think we should support this one too. So, could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Blank, second by Councillor Micah. All in favor? And that's carried. And then the next one isn't a resolution, it's the email from Algonquins of Ontario. Everyone's had a chance to read it. Are there any questions? Yes, Councillor Micah.
I have. Do we have local contacts on the Golden Lake Reserve that we deal with, or? And the reason that I ask, I think maybe we should have that.
Well, ask the
know.
CAO to respond to you
Yeah.
on that, Councillor Micah.
So we do, but I mentioned to the mayor yesterday that I've contacted the contact on this letterhead.
Okay.
So that I can get regionally who the individuals that we should be notifying. But we do have a contact that we use, and actually it's through through recreation and the library, and then we have a link for the planning, and it's local to the Pikwakanagan.
So do we have communication with the Pikwakanagan local elected council?
Yes, we have contact for them.
Okay, the actual
Yes.
councilors. Because they're different governments in a sense, right?
Yep.
And I've seen not sure the relationship locally in this particular organization. Before we support it, maybe we would be best to reach out and speak with the chief or the
Yeah,
chief
so-
staff and.
So through the chair, I think there's nothing like to support. This is to advise us of the process for consultation.
Okay, so there's
And,
nothing to,
No,
And
but
so-
it's just
and our
received as information.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
CAO, this is just information, but our CAO has reached out to these people to sort of find out how the process will start.
Okay.
And who our
Continue.
local contact is,
Yeah.
specifically with the Pikwaknagans.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're elected
Elected
council.
bodies. Yep.
Okay.
And
Great.
We're not passing any
Okay, good.
resolution or anything on this. Okay, 12.3, unfinished business, and I don't see any. So we'll move into the regular council portion of the agenda. And these are confirmation of various minutes. So we start with the Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes of June 20th, 2023 be approved as presented. Has everyone had a chance to read them? Yep. Moved by Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Olszewski. All in favor? Carried. And then 14.2, and it's 13C1C-01, August 23rd, that the public meeting minutes for June 20th, 23 be approved as presented. And again, are there any errors or omissions? If not, could I get a mover? Councillor Schulis, second by Councillor Olszewski. All in favor? And that's carried. Item 14C1C-01, August 2023, that the regular council meeting minutes from June 20th, 2023 be approved as presented. Again, any errors or omissions? No. Then could I get a mover? Councillor Olszewski, second by Councillor Micah. So all in favor? And that's carried. And the last one, 15C1C-01, August 2023, is the special council meeting minutes for June 27th, 2023 be approved as presented. Any errors and omissions? If not, then could I get a mover? Councillor Schulis, second by Councillor Olszewski. All in favor? And that's carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? I don't see any, and we do not have any bylaws. So now we'll go to item 17, and I need a motion to move in camera. And I guess I should read why we're going in camera first. That the meeting enter in camera session to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about identified individual, including municipal or local board employees, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Advice that is strictly to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. I don't believe we have that one anymore. Ontario Municipal Act 2001 C25 S239 brackets 2 brackets B brackets E and brackets F. Could I get a motion to move in camera? Councillor Micah, second by Councillor Schulis, and all in favor? And that's carried. So we are now in camera. Okay, I'd just like to report coming out of our short in-camera session that we did approve the in-camera meeting minutes of June 20th and the special council meeting minutes in camera from June 27th. So with that, we have the confirming bylaw. C8 or 18 C1C-01 August 2023, the bylaw 2023-52 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley at the Council and Committee meeting of August 1st, 2023, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this August 1st, 2023. Could I get a mover, please? Councillor Schulis, second by Councillor Blank. All in favor? And that's carried. So I need a motion to adjourn. Councillor Olszewski, second by Councillor Micah. And all in favor? Carried, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Job well done.